The UEFA Champions League quarter-finals are about to be played. There are 8 teams left in the biggest competition of the world. But the question is, which 4 teams are going to advance to the semi-finals? And in today's video, I'm going to take you guys with me in my prediction. And what better way to start off this video than by going on to the biggest game of the quarter-finals. Arsenal against Real Madrid. And I think we all know that Arsenal had a pretty easy run in their last round, where they beat PSV quite easily. Can they match that against Real Madrid? Probably the best team in Europe. Real Madrid, who of course played Atletico Madrid and went through on pens, where they got very lucky with that Julian Alvarez penalty miss. And if we have to be honest, Real Madrid wasn't that good. Vini, who according to loads should have won the Ballon d'Or, wasn't that good. Mbappe had a stinker. Only Rodrigo had like a decent game in their first leg. But will this be enough to beat Arsenal again? That's the big question. Now, if we think about the quality of Real Madrid and about the experience that most of those players have, for example, the Mbappe, the Vinis, the Modric, even Courtois, who is a very valuable asset for Real Madrid, they have loads and loads of experience in the Champions League already. And if we compare those players with the Arsenal squad is very, let's say, unexperienced. Saka hasn't done much in the Champions League yet. Saliba and Gabriel aren't really proven. Ødegaard hasn't done much yet either. So it will be a very interesting game. But I do definitely think that Arsenal has a chance against this Real Madrid team. Because we have seen Real Madrid against Atletico and they didn't look good. But the question is, will Arsenal go through? I think they won't. And I do think that Real Madrid will be advancing to the Champions League semi-finals this year. Now, moving on to the second game, where we have Barcelona facing Borussia Dortmund. We all know that Barcelona had quite a fun experience in the Champions League this year. I'm pretty sure they scored the most goals of every single team, but they also concede a lot. So I definitely think that in this game we will see loads and loads of goals. And why do I think that? I think that because Dortmund in the Champions League are a different team than when they are playing in the Bundesliga. In the Bundesliga at the moment they are somewhere in the mid-table, 10th or 11th, which is an absolute disgrace for a team like Dortmund. But in the Champions League, somehow they have been turning up with the likes of Gittens, Guirassy, Gross. So I definitely think there is a possibility for Dortmund to go through there, because we all know what the yellow wall can do. But then on the other hand, we have Barcelona, with probably the deadliest front three in this entire world at the moment, with Lamine Yamal, Robert Lewandowski, and probably a Ballon d'Or winner, Rafinha, who has been insane in the Champions League and has already broken a lot of records, especially this season with his goals, assists, and just being important in general. So, when we are looking at this, my question will be, can Schlotterbeck compete against those three? Because he is the main man in that Dortmund defense. But I do think that Dortmund have absolutely no chance in 2 games against Barcelona, with the likes of Pedri being there, Gavi. Even the Barca defense has been alright this year, although they have been conceding a lot. I think Inigo Martinez has been amazing. Koundé, we all know, is a quality centre back. They also have a decent goalkeeper in Chesney now, with Body on the left. I think Barcelona will absolutely smash Dortmund and they will be advancing to the Champions League semi-finals as well. Before we go into game number 3, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, Bayern versus Inter. In my opinion, this is the most 50-50 game out of the 4 games that we will be seeing in this Champions League quarterfinals. And why do I think that? We saw Inter quite easily beat Feyenoord over 2 legs. And in my opinion, it was a big surprise that we saw Bayern München absolutely beat the hell out of Bayern Leverkusen. And why do I think this game is that interesting? Because Inter, in my opinion, are a very underrated team. And I think especially in the season where they faced Manchester City in the Champions League, they should have won in that final. Now, Inter are doing amazing in the league as well once again. But the thing is, can they do it against Bayern München, who under company have been, in my opinion, they are having an interesting season. With some ups, some downs. But I think they can do it. I think Bayern München can go through here. Probably because they have the best striker in the world, with Harry Kane. And I think it is time that Harry Kane will be breaking his curse this season and will finally win some silverware. They are first in the league, which is already very good for him. and I do definitely think that Bayern have a chance of going far in this Champions League campaign and potentially go ahead and win it all. Because the players they have are definitely good enough. With Olise on the right, they have of course Musiala, Kimi, Goretzka. The only thing that I could see that could be a big problem for Bayern Munich are Kim Min-jae and Upamecano. Because every single time there is a spotlight on them in the Champions League, maybe even international for Upamecano, they seem to be doing something dumb. And that could be a problem. What also could be a problem is that Neuer is still out with injury, if I am not mistaken. And we don't know what their second goalkeeper can do on this big stage. Where on the other side, Bayern will be facing the likes of Lautaro Martinez, Thuram, Çalhanoğlu, Bastoni, of course Jan Sommer, who is a quality goalkeeper as well. And Jan Sommer is one of Bayern's biggest and most annoying players to face, because somehow this man turns into prime Buffon every single time he faces Bayern Munich. I do think this game is pretty 50-50, but as I said before, I do think Bayern will go through on the slightest of margins. I would give it 51% for Bayern Munich and 49% for Inter. But I do think Bayern Munich will be going through into the semi-finals of the Champions League. And now, last but not least, we have the last game of the quarterfinals. We got Paris Saint-Germain against Aston Villa. And I think most of these people have already written Aston Villa off. And I totally get that, because we saw PSG absolutely play with their food in Liverpool. Of course, they only beat them on pens, but over the two games, over the two legs, Paris Saint-Germain should have scored way more than just the one goal. And I do think against Aston Villa, if PSG turn up again and play at the exact same football they played against Liverpool and just dominate, they will be scoring 3, 4, maybe even 5 goals against this Aston Villa team. But on the other hand, this Aston Villa team, you cannot underrate them. Because we know with Unai Emery, he is a tournament coach. He has won multiple European trophies and he knows what it takes to go ahead and win and perform on the biggest of stages. Aston Villa do have a very, very good team. With Emiliano Martinez, a World Cup winning goalkeeper, Tielemans, Rodgers, Watkins, now with Asensio and Rashford coming in as well, they have been doing pretty well. But I do think against this PSG team, with all the talent that they have, with Nuno Mendes, Vitinha, João Neves, Dembele, who is arguably on a Ballon d'Or season as well, with Kvaratskhelia, Barcola, there are so many names in that PSG team that are just pure quality. And I just can't see them losing, especially after what I've seen against Liverpool. So I want to say Paris Saint-Germain are going to be the final and last team to go into the Champions League semi-finals. And with my predictions now all being settled, that would mean that we would see 2 semi-finals of Real Madrid against PSG and Barcelona against Bayern Munich. And in my opinion, I would be very, very happy with those 2 semi-finals, because I would think that those 2 games would be very, very fun and very enjoyable to watch as well. Now with that being said, guys, let me know in the comments who you think will be going through into the semi-finals, and let me know if you guys agree with my predictions or not. And with that being said, I will see you guys very, very soon. Peace.